investigate crimes, you're better off going after management. Since we got the scanner, we've had fewer thefts. 14 quid for a cocktail and you say it's not theft. Since we got the scanner, we've had fewer thefts. Yeah, unless you count the theft of our data. Oh! Since we got the scanner, we've had fewer thefts. This feels weird is all. Well, what's your answer? There are criminal gangs operating in nightclubs. They come in here and they target people. Yeah, but target them to do what? Like steal their phones? It's not exactly a violent crime epidemic, is it? If you didn't want to have your ID scanned, you didn't have to come in. Since we got the scanner, we've had fewer thefts. It still feels creepy being under surveillance. Like, surely I should have to give some kind of informed consent before you can just keep a record of everywhere I go on a Friday night. People know we scan IDs and they come here anyway. Is that the same thing as informed consent? If you didn't want to have your ID scanned, you didn't have to come in. Still feels creepy being under surveillance. Surely I should have to give some kind of informed consent. Where does the data go? Just to the computer. Surely I should have to give some kind of informed consent. How do I know my data is being securely stored? Surely I should have to give some kind of informed consent. What data are you getting? Your name, address, age, stuff like that. And how long do you keep it for? I've no idea. I want a copy of it. What? I want a copy of the data. The Data Protection Act requires you to have a procedure in place for anybody who requests a copy of the data that you hold on them. We have a procedure in place. Would you like to see the procedure? Yeah. This is the procedure. You got any ID? Yeah, sure, man. Whoa, what's that? It's an ID scanner. What for? It's just for security. I'm not gonna get like targeted advertising, am I? Why would you not want targeted advertisement? I'd rather see an ad for something I might want. Because targeted advertising requires targeted surveillance. Like, it's the same with phones, they track you all the time everywhere you go. That's how they send you ads. We're under more surveillance now than the bloody Soviet Union. Aye, I know what you mean, pal. The owner of this place has got cameras on all the tills. At least the people in the Soviet Union were under surveillance by their own government. Who cares if Apple or Google knows where you are? Yeah, but what's to stop them sharing that information with the government, right? Metropolitan Police are outside the tube station doing facial recognition with no public oversight or accountability or anything. They can get just about everything off your phone.
Can we get in, please?
Would you mind shutting your face, sweetheart? I'm trying to have a psychotic dialogue over here. I'm quite curious about that perspective, you know. I used to be a police officer. Oh. Whoa, why'd you quit? Too much bloody paperwork. Why'd you quit? Partner was a fucking asshole. Why'd you quit? One too many accusations of police brutality. Institutionalized gay bashing that nobody did anything about. I'm quite curious about that perspective, you know. I used to be a police officer. Oh. Whoa, why'd you quit? I just couldn't stand that paperwork. But the way I see it is, if you've not got anything to hide, what are you scared for? Well, that would be good if it actually worked. But like, the Met have got this algorithm, right, that they can plug into your phone, and it's supposed to be able to tell if you've got any like dodgy pictures on it, like child pornography or like guns and stuff. Oh, aye, that's clever. Some of the stuff I used to have to look at. Jesus Christ. Right, like, it sounds like a good idea, but the algorithm obviously can't tell the difference between like child pornography and just consensual nudes from an adult. And it also can't tell the difference between a photo of a naked human body and sand dunes. Sand dunes. Yeah, like deserts, like it thinks they're porn. Why deserts? Because algorithms are shit, basically. I mean, let's say you've got an algorithm that's supposed to look at pictures of animals and tell you what they are. And it's like, is this a wolf? And you go, yes. And it's like, okay, if that's a wolf, then that's got to be a wolf. And you go, yeah. And it goes, well, if those two are wolves, then that's definitely got to be a wolf. And you're like, no, that's a lizard. And it's like, but they all have white backgrounds. Well, I see, because you can't see what the machine is looking at. Right, okay. Well, they should fix it. They should tell the algorithm, that's no wolf, that's a lizard. That's no pair of tits, that's the Mojave. Right, but that porn detecting algorithm goes through hundreds of thousands of photos, pixel by pixel, in a way that absolutely no human brain processes images. And no human can understand how it makes the decisions that it makes. So that's how come algorithms can be obviously wrong and bad, but we can't fix them because their reasoning is just like a black box. Well, I'm sure they'll find a way to fix it. No, that's the point, they can't. Gathering massive amounts of data from surveillance and using algorithms to crunch it is obviously a terrible idea, but we use it for stuff like deciding where police officers get to patrol and who should be released from prison. Well, this is fascinating, but I've got to scan your ID now or ask you to move along and let the others in. Well, they should fix it. They should tell the algorithm, that's no a wolf, that's a lizard, that's no a pair of tits, that's the Mojave. Yeah, but we can't tell what they make their decisions based on, only whether or not they come to the right conclusions. All the algorithms, the big data stuff that gets used in targeted ads and even military stuff is just like, it's just a doohickey, it's just a dongle and nobody actually knows how they work. Well, all the targeted advertisements I get fed are pretty close. I don't know, man. I just think all this tech, it simplifies stuff, but life's not black and white all the time. Well, this is fascinating, but I've got to scan your ID now or ask you to move along and let the others in. Well, all the targeted advertisements I get fed are pretty close. Sometimes it's scary. Yeah. Well, they've actually all got one big weakness though. Like, let's say that you go to see Magic Mike, the stage show on Wednesday, and then you go to a gay club on Thursday, and then on Friday you're here, and you've got your phone on you all the time, so you're being tracked, so they can send you ads. An algorithm's gonna go, okay, he's been to these 3 specific locations, so statistically he's probably a pure brawl legend. Yeah, right, so it's gonna go, statistically this guy's a legend. Maybe he would like tickets to see Kim Petras live on Monday, and it sends you an advert about tickets. Too right, fucking bop after bop with Kim. Right. But the problem with using an algorithm to determine whether somebody's gonna buy a product or not is it's not like trying to predict the roll of a dice where there's only 6 possible outcomes. Maybe you go to 3 gay events and then you buy Kim Petras tickets. Maybe you go to 3 gay events and then you move to Sweden and start a turnip farm with 9 golden retrievers, right? Humans don't think probabilistically. So in order to use an algorithm to predict somebody's behavior, you have to decide that some possible outcomes aren't relevant, and that's the problem. Who gets to decide which of my possible actions aren't relevant enough to be worth considering? You're talking about targeted advertisement? Not just that. I mean, it's not so important when it comes to that, but I'm talking about algorithms that determine things like who gets access to social housing or finances, or where do police officers get to patrol. Gathering loads of data from surveillance and crunching it with big data algorithms is just a really terrible idea. Well, this is fascinating, but I've got to scan your ID now or ask you to move along and let the others in. Do you have to scan it? All right. Since you like asking questions, here's a good one, right? I read this the other day. If you can answer this, I'll let you in. All right. There's this woman, right, called Linda. She's 31 years old, single, outspoken, clever. She studied philosophy. When she was a student, she was big into social justice, protests, anti-nuclear demonstrations. Oh, she sounds great. What's her number? Right. So, here's the question. Which of the following is more probable? Number 1, Linda is a bank teller. Or number 2, Linda is a bank teller and also a feminist. Number 2, no, it's actually number 1. Because mathematically, the probability of 2 things happening together is always smaller than the probability of just 1 thing happening on its own. Huh, damn. Maths don't lie, my friend. And now, I've got to scan your ID. The question is flawed. What? The question's flawed. When most people hear the word probable, they don't think of mathematics. They'll just generalize from what they know. If you ask somebody what's more probable, then they'll tell you what they think based on their experience, or they'll tell you what they think you want to hear. It's not a problem with human beings that they don't think like mathematical machines. You got any ID? Yeah, sure, man. Whoa, what is that? It's just an ID scanner. What for? It's just for security. No, I don't want that. I don't, it's nobody's business where I go on a Friday night. All this surveillance, man. Aye, I know what you mean, pal. The owner of this place has got cameras on all the tills.